Okay, this show's dedicated to billionaire Ted. As you know, billionaire Ted was made fun of during the high times of WWF, and but in all honesty, the man was a TV genius. Genius. He was a visionary. He was, he owned the Atlanta Braves. He owned WCW. He owned, CNN. He had his, hands into everything possible, everything possible. And focusing on WCW for a minute, what got me watching WCW was, of course, the NWO. I remember I had to be watching Raw or something, and then I turned the channel during a commercial break, and wound up on TNT and WCW, and down from the through the crowd came Scott Hall. Of course, I saw him as Razor Ramon. So the idea to make them these characters look real was real to me, and I was an NWO fan for life. Without the NWO, there wouldn't be a UWO. And with that being said, what other thing? I watched WCW for a short time when Hogan and Savage faced the the Dungeon of Doom or the Legion of Doom. I don't know what they're called. It was the Dungeon of Doom people or whatever that Kevin Sullivan had, along with the um, Four Horsemen, and they were facing off against Hogan and Savage in a triple cage match at Uncensored. That's the first WCW pay per view I watched, and it's the only WCW pay per view I watched until the NWO. And Hogan and Savage, man, moving over there, is just like that was wild. That was wild, and for me as a kid, that was wild. And WCW was a good product up until they made some financial mistakes and got themselves put under. But we got AEW now with another billionaire, Tony Khan, running things the way he wants to run things, and seems to be doing pretty good though. Seems to be doing pretty good. I mean, we have wrestling every night of the week. Every night of the week, we got Raw on Mondays, NXT on Tuesdays, AEW Wednesdays, TNA Thursdays, and SmackDown on Fridays. And it's just like, plus you got different other or other promotions out there that run on different times. Like I don't know in NWA's new schedule. I know that they're on the Comet Channel, whatever that is. But um, so I mean, you watch wrestling whenever you want to, especially with on-demand services and going into your cable providers category of channels and stuff. It's just like you watch whenever you want. It's not secluded to a Monday night or Thursday night. I mean, it's just like we have wrestling today because of how Ted Turner developed WCW. That's what I'm trying to get at, and that's the truth of the matter. If Ted Turner didn't do what he did with WCW, go up against Raw, the Machine, WWE, WWF, whatever they call it at the time, WWF, and have those weeks and months of back and forth ratings and Nitro ruling the roost for the longest, and it's just like I don't know. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't have wrestling like we do today. That's it, really. That's and speaking of AEW, man, what a night for Ted Turner to pass away when the TBS champion and Darby Allin was facing the TNT champion, not the TBS champion, but the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, which is it was facing the TNT champion, and yeah, that's an awesome match for the night that for Ted to pass away at 87, and that's a good match to have tonight. I mean, in all honesty, it's just awesome. Today also is the 20 something anniversary of WWE WWF becoming WWE. So I've been told. So my sources have said. Today's the 20 something anniversary of WWF becoming WWE after losing their lawsuit with the World Wildlife Fund and changed their name to WWE, which made Hulk Hogan the man that everybody wants to boo and be be hateful against because of some bad mistakes he's made. But it made Hulk Hogan, the legend Hulk Hogan, Mr. 24-inch Python, the last WWF champion and the first WWE World Champion. Now think about that. I mean, it could have happened to anybody, but imagine, I mean, Hulk Hogan of all people. Speaking of championships, let me rewind back. Is their AEW World Heavyweight Champion? He retained that again tonight, and then tonight after his match, he got like three new challengers. Got he's the most. I'm just telling you, man, he's the most hated man in WWE in AEW. If I can talk straight, he's the most hated man in AEW. He's the most gracious man to put his title on the line. In all honesty, he really is. He's the most gracious man to put his title on the line. And I can honestly say, it's kind of like reminds me about you, the United States Championship was on John Cena, and he did that open challenge each week. That's what how often his title's being on the line. That's how it reminds me of. I mean, he's facing going to be facing MJF with MJF's hair on the line and his title on the line, and he has a long way to go and many challengers ahead of him to go to get to Double or Nothing. So he's gonna be tired. He's gonna be hurting, and he's going to be lose his title that night. I got my list here, things I want to talk about. And my first topic of the evening: AJ Lee's back. To you, as a wrestling fan, or even an AJ Lee fan, was it worth it? Should we have saw Matt fan? I mean, Roxanne is a big time fan of AJ Lee. Should we have saw that match? Attitude. To me, it wasn't worth it. To me, honestly, it wasn't worth it. And release it and people leaving. The Wyatt Six, as I mentioned last week, the Wyatt Six, and to my understanding, the Wyatt Six was released from WWE because TKO does not approve of paranormal or darker characters in their wrestling promotion now. But you know what? That's honestly it's not everything what Vince did because Vince really didn't being dark. I mean, honestly, I mean, like that big old head Bray Wyatt took out and all this kind of stuff. It's just like so. It's never really been approved in WWE before, and to me is crazy. I mean, we got Rosemary, Havoc, Abaddon, and the Dark Realm, and TNA, and so I mean that seems to work out good. I think it would something like that would work just as good in WWE as it would in TNA. I mean, I don't know if TKO members are just scared. If they're scared, just say they're scared. I mean, AEW even had Abaddon there for the longest, which I wish Abaddon got a better push than AEW. In all honesty, that would have been nice if Abaddon got a better push. If Abaddon got a world title, female world title run. I mean, Abaddon's one of my favorite, and I think it could work for WWE if they made it work. But I don't know. You know, this is gonna be against my better judgment because I don't know who's watching. I don't know who's watching, who's blabbing their mouth. But I want to compare the Wyatt Six to the UWO for a minute. I'm gonna be nice about it when I not. Well, they didn't agree with Doctor characters not. Their release was stupid. It could have been a darker team, a more dominant team, and ran over the place, just and made a more of a name for themselves than being called the White Six. It's White Six, right? Yeah, White Six, and by just having a name, they could have been more than a name. They could have had more titles than they had. They could have a lot of things could have been different if Lisa, man, did something with them, did something creatively with them. I mean, there's a lot of that could have gone on that didn't go on. I mean, I blame WWE. Now, what I was going to say, UWO, my promoter, kayfabe aside, my promoter asked me to pitch him an idea of which way to take my character. And I said, UWO, Unknown World Order, NWO type storyline. Well, everywhere we turned, that storyline fell on its face. And even having one night at a show where the UWO took over and destroyed all the wrestlers, they didn't want to follow it up after that. And I feel like, I mean, I was mad for the longest. I'll be honest with you, I was mad for the longest. I don't know. I don't want to say my feelings were hurt, but I was irritated. I mean, I was irritated because like the way we talked about it and the way it played out, two separate things, man. Two separate things. And I understand why it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. And maybe the White Six understand the same thing, but I don't know. We're in two different leagues. Or we're in two different leagues, rather. And I mean, I just think a lot more could have been done with UWO, the Unknown World Order. And it's just, I mean, just bringing it up is hurts my feelings. It was really hurt my feelings. I mean, that's being dramatic, but it just bothers me because I wish the UWO was more than it was, and I wish they followed up on that storyline the way they followed up. And I think White Six probably feels the same way, but I can relate to the White Six is all I'm saying, with the creative sucking and this and that, and just like I can relate to it. I can honestly relate to it. Now let's talk about something a little bit lighter. No, wait. Here we go. Let's talk about this. Another TKO let go. Another TKO let go. The New Day. TKO wanted to redo the New Day's contract. New Day said no, goodbye. Their contracts were not. They wanted to reevaluate them or whatever, but the contracts were not. That wasn't the case. They wanted to pay him less money and this and that. And Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods said no, goodbye. And it's just like everybody's missing the New Day, which I'm guarantee you're going to see the New Day pop up in AEW soon, since WWE has their arrangement agreement with TNA. So I mean, that's really the only place they can really go, unless they go to Major League Wrestling or something like that. So I mean, I guarantee you see the New Day pop up there, and that's what I see. That's what I see for the future. Maybe they'll join the Hurt Business or something. That'd be awesome. That'd be an awesome crew. I mean, really would. And I mean, if you're really that sad about them leaving WWE, watch them in AEW when they show up. I mean, do I think TKO knows what they're doing with wrestling? No, I don't. No, I don't. I really don't. Honest to God, I don't. I don't think TKO knows a damn thing about what they're doing with wrestling. And but I know for the fact, unlike me, there's a lot of fans out there that will bitch and complain about TKO and what they're doing, whether that's bringing in celebrities or ticking talent off to the point they quit or whatever. And it's like, but they'll continue to watch the product. So the viewer rate keeps going up or stays the same. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you're really that upset about it, if you really want to cry about it, quit. Quit. Go somewhere else. Watch another wrestling promotion if you have to watch wrestling. And just give TKO up. Pull a New Day. That's what I have to say. All right. Now, here's a question I got for you. Should Tiffany Stratton have compared her current romantic relationship to Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee? And now, I don't know if she just means because her boyfriend's covered in tattoos and this and that, and she's a blonde. I mean, I don't know how that's the comparison she made or what. But no, I wouldn't. That's not one relationship I compare my relationships to. I mean, a lot of my relationships has been like that, other than been like that in the sense they've been toxic. I mean, my relationships have been toxic, but and because that Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson's relationship was so toxic, I wouldn't compare my relationship to that if I was her. And I understand she put it out on her Instagram that she was comparing her and her boyfriend, I can't think of his name, to Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson. It's just like, but it just shows her age too. I think it shows her age because I think she said it on her birthday. And she's not even 30 yet. So I mean, I'm like twice her age almost, and that's just telling my age, but still, it's like makes me think that she just doesn't know better. Doesn't really know what Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's relationship was really like him breaking into the Baywatch set and tearing things up and violence and domestic violence and just different things. It's just like I, I don't think she knows better. But I think if she's going to make a comparison, she needs to research who she's comparing herself to before making the comparison. And that's really all I got to say on that. Then on a lighter note, let's talk about Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka signed her Raw contract Monday night. Yes, she did. And then obviously they're going to have her feuding with Becky too. Becky seems to be a go-to for people feuding with her since AJ is not coming back. And now Sol Ruka is going to feud with Becky. And Sol Ruka might become the future Women's Intercontinental Champion. And but all I saw online was how she botched her Soul Snatcher move, and how they edited the Soul Snatcher move to the point that it wasn't botched or something. And so I guess anybody can make mistakes. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm not laughing at her. I couldn't imagine doing a flip like that and catching somebody. And but those ropes are probably slick too, and those shoes she wears probably doesn't help matters. And but she's on Raw now, and we can count on her feuding with Becky. I mean, they started her off feuding, started her off in uh, feuding with Liv for a little while, for a night, and then now they moved her on to feud with Becky, which that'd make more sense for her to win the women's Intercontinental title before she wins the women's world title, the women's Raw title, whatever. I mean, so it makes sense if she feuded with Becky and then beat Becky for Intercontinental Championship, and maybe have a run with that for a while, just see how she does, especially with the Soul Snatcher flaw, you know. And so her feuding with Becky is probably the best bet. That's the best business sense, just to see how she does. And yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, she doesn't have a gang of people to back her up. I mean, at this point, like what's her name? Fatal Influence, JC, JC, yeah. And Fatal Influence, man, on SmackDown is just going crazy. The women's division, they got you know Rhea teaming up with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss against JC Jane and Fatal Influence. And Fatal Influence is taking over like the freaking NWO, like the freaking women's NWO, like a women powerhouse. And they're killers, man. I mean, they're absolute killers. And I don't mean that literally. I don't mean that literally at all. I'm just saying they're dominating SmackDown. They're dominating the SmackDown Women's Division. I mean, do I see Jesse Jane beating Rhea for the championship right off the bat? No, I don't. Even with the fatal influences outside distractions and interference, I don't see JC Jane becoming the women's world champion any quicker than I see Sol Ruka becoming the women's world champion on Raw. I mean, United States Championship, maybe might happen. Who knows? Let me just move on to my girl on NXT. The girl I said that has nobody beside her anymore to hold her back. And that's Zarya. Zarya in NXT, and she proved herself this week that she's a dominant girl, woman. Hear me roar. I mean, honest to God, she's a dominant woman. Hear me roar, and she's like dominated the field there. All three of them was in the ring with her, and she's laid them all out. And I said in a previous podcast, I said that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen for Zarya. She needs to be put into beast mode and lay them all out and win her championships. She should win. She should beat Tatum for her championship, then beat Lola for her championship, and she should hold both belts for a while. That's my opinion. That's my opinion on that. Anyway, now let's move to the men. Should let's go start off with SmackDown first, then end with Raw. With SmackDown, should they have dropped the Orton Road storyline? Should they have dropped the Orton Road storyline? That's hard to say. That's hard to say. Part of me says yeah, but part of me says if you're going to bloody somebody up at the end of the match and are you just going to walk away? Are you just going to walk away from a rematch? I mean, they should have they should have had one more match at Backlash before they brought Gunther in. And as far as bringing Gunther in, Gunther's a beast. He's a different kind of beast than Brock Lesnar. And because Gunther is there to put you out of business. Gunther is there to retire you. He doesn't care who he's facing. He wants to retire him. And so I say they should have brought Orton in for one more match. Have no celebrities, no nothing. Maybe have a cage match or something. Orton and Rhodes at Backlash. And then have Rhodes win that match. And after Rhodes wins the match, have Gunther jump him at Backlash. Now that would be cool. That would be cool. And I'm just I'm interested in seeing where this Gunther thing goes to. I really am. I'm interested in seeing where the Gunther thing goes to. Um, but we'll just see. Anyway, let's stick to Raw. Roman Reigns and Fatu. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. Now, look, this is an awesome match for this past Monday night, and just wild. It was wild, and do I see Roman dropping the belt at Backlash? No, I don't. I don't see him dropping the belt at Backlash. I don't see him dropping the belt anytime soon. I mean, I just don't. And so anyway, let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave this at that. I'm having problems with my Wi-Fi going on, and there's a storm outside, and so I'm going to end this here and just say, catch me, subscribe to my channel, catch me next week for sure, same time after Dynamite, and yeah, episode 17 next week. See y'all then.